Hey guys, Gary, grateful recovering alcoholic and drug addict. So I was just watching some videos and stuff like that on I had fucking sun coming in here. Does this help? Maybe? No. So I was watching some videos and stuff, and alcohol. If you're an alcoholic, or if you're trying to figure out if you're an alcoholic or I gotta tell you, alcohol is but a symptom, okay? That's a symptom of our disease. And it's deemed a disease by the medical association, the medical society, okay? Doctors recognize it as a disease. The disease of alcoholism, the disease of drug addiction, the disease of addiction. And this disease that I have centers in the mind. And it's an obsession of the mind and a compulsion of the body. So once we put that stuff in, we never know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen, when I put drugs in. I mean, I have a pretty good idea, what I got a pretty good scenario if I'm ever going to relapse, But it's a dark one, and it ends up with a bunch of symptoms, okay? And here's my symptoms, okay? My symptoms would be drinking alcohol, doing drugs. To quiet this off, this thing is telling me some negative, dark shit a lot. And it's, this thing makes me insecure, makes me possessive, jealous, afraid, and other symptoms are, if you break out in handcuffs, some people break out in hives. I break out in handcuffs. Other symptoms, multiple rehab attempts, right? Other symptoms of the disease of alcoholism, multiple trips in front of the judge. That could be another one. Time spent in jail, whether it's short stints or long periods, right? Erratic behavior, violent behavior. The list goes on ad infinitum. It just goes forever. It's like entering a dark hole. That thing will go in, or the black holes in space. They just go on for eternity. I could just give you a list of symptoms over and over and over. So, yeah, I've got people texting me and shit like that right now. So, I don't know, think about that. Chew on that for a while, right? And if you're new to this thing, or if you're trying to figure out if you're an alcoholic or not, don't let the word alcoholic scare you. I was driving through Starbucks the other day, right? And a young girl I talk to at the window all the time if there's nobody behind me. We chat. She says I look like some guy on some actor, right? And I said, well, no, it's not me. And so we got to talking, and she said, where are you headed today? And I said, well, I'm headed to an AA meeting. And she looks at me like, that's something bad, right? An AA meeting, right? I go, yeah. The neighborhood's a lot safer when I'm not drinking, And she kind of chuckled and looked at me funny, like, cool. You never know who you're going to touch. You never know. Now she knows that I'm an alcoholic, right? I don't drink, and I go to AA meetings. Maybe she's got a friend who's an addict or an alcoholic, and she can shift him my way. So I don't hide that shit from anybody, I just, like I said on an earlier video, you don't want to, when you're in a job interview, you don't want to go, yeah, I'm an alcoholic, and I go to meetings, and, but some people hide it, some people don't. It doesn't, I don't care, you know, like, whatever. People want to judge me, go ahead and judge me. So, I love this thing that I do. Somebody just sent me a little, I love you, Gary, from my YouTube thing that they're popping up right now. So a bunch of people, I'm getting a bunch of hits this morning on some little short I sent. I got to tell you, the last couple weeks have been big weeks on my channel, you guys, and I'm meeting a lot of people. I mean, this thing's really taken off. Like last weekend, in 2 days, we had like 3,500 views, and not just on one video, but you know, some of my videos get 70 hits, and some of them get 1,000. So subscribe. You know, subscribe. Hit. Let's good chat back and forth. If you've got long-term sobriety, if you've got short-term sobriety, if you're not an alcoholic and you're curious about the disease, if you just want to add something to help people. I mean, I've got people on here with mental illness, alcoholism, normies. You know, I got my friend, the nurse practitioner, my good friend that I've known since I was a kid, and I love her to death. She actually, she helped me get sober. She helped me walk through getting a job and losing my company, and she's a nurse practitioner, and thank you. You know, I don't forget about that stuff, you know, Mimi. I love you. Thank you. And her and I have, you know, we used to date back when she knew me when I was fucking nuts. I think the last day we dated, right? I got to tell you this. I was about, I don't know, maybe I was 18 or 19 years old, and she had a party, and cops came in through the back sliding door. I don't know if she remembers this or not, but they were there for me. And I took a baton in the throat, and I took a cop down. What was happening was I was in a big fight with a bunch of guys, and you know, it was like me with, you know, fighting 3 or 4 guys, and I was getting cracked in the face with beer cans and beer bottles. And my brother was there. My brother's, I don't think he had ever been in a fist fight in his life, and maybe hasn't been since. And he was watching me take shots to the face with beer bottles and stuff. And the only time I ever saw my brother throw an overhand right, man, he cranked this motherfucker. So that was when I was about 18 or 19. I ended up in the back of a cop car, ankle chained and handcuffed. I don't know if you've ever had both, right? Some of my symptoms, right, to my alcoholism. I thought it was just, you know, it was those guys' fault at the party, right? So I'm ankle chained and stuff in the back of Glendale PD's car. I remember the seat broke, so when they threw me in, the seat broke, and I'm laying on the ground, right, with my ankles chained to my handcuffs, my hands, and I'm just kind of helpless back there. And they beat my ass coming down the elevator too. But I'm in the back of the police car, and I'm probably going to be going away for quite a while, because I was already on probation, and I was looking at a year. And this was, you know, I was about 18 at the time, and the radio went off in their car, and it said, "Officer shot, officer down, officer shot, officer down." There was several cop cars in there, and you heard it go through all the radios. I remember that, and I'm thinking, holy shit, officer shot, man. And I remember the cop uncuffed me, and he slapped me in the back of the head, and he goes, "It's your lucky day, motherfucker," right? and then sent me about my merry way, man. And that was it, man. I didn't go to jail that night, but I remember that. I don't know if you remember that maybe or not, but those were my symptoms, guys. You know, handcuffs, a lot of drinking, a lot of cocaine, a lot of erratic behavior. Remember, man, those are our symptoms. Alcohol is but a symptom, you know. These are the symptoms alcoholics exhibit. You know, if you've got cancer, you know, you got a lump on your throat, you got scratchy throat, or you can't swallow. Those are your symptoms. If you've got whatever, you you got COVID, you can't breathe. What are your symptoms? I can't breathe. You got alcoholism, what are your symptoms? Well, I have multiple trips to jail. The judge is multiple trips in front of the judge. Break out in handcuffs. Never know when I'm going to do that. It just, the list goes on and on. So, I don't know. I just want to let you guys know if you're suffering from alcohol and drug addiction in any respect, there's a solution, and it's fun, right? Look at me. I'm having a good time, right? I'm driving to Houston right now to meet a buddy. I made a video this morning. I don't know if I'll post this. I'll probably post it on the way. Get this shit, right? But you're supposed to time it, time your videos so there's more views and this, that, and the other. And it's like, I probably could be doing much better in my channel, but I just post videos, man. I'm not in here to, get, massive amounts of hits or anything like that. I'm here to help people, and I do want people to see, and, I do have a little I listen to some of that stuff because I want to touch as many people as possible, especially the young kids hitting fentanyl hard, That shit's taken a lot of kids out. It took my son out, and I miss him. I've been talking a lot about him today, thinking a lot about him today. And I haven't talked to him yet, but I'm going to talk to him. I got about an hour and a half drive left. When I turn this thing off, I'm going to talk to my son Brandon Brown, who died from an accidental fentanyl overdose. And he was an amazing, charismatic character. And he's in his. I was talking to Vicky today. He's in his most natural form right now. He's not suffering with his symptoms today. He's free. That's how I look at it. And when I communicate with my son, when I think of him, he's definitely free right now, and he's loving, and he wasn't always so loving when he was on this planet. I mean, this is a kid who had an amazing capacity for love. But him and I had our issues, and he was, when you're an addict or you're an alcoholic and you're dealing with a parent who loves you, there's a lot of conflict going on, and a lot of, our parents are unhappy with us when we're not doing we're achieving our best and what they know we're capable of and how they raised us to be. And I knew he was capable of so much more, but he just had this monkey on his back, and he was achieving a lot of. He was living his dream, but it was holding him back, and like it did me. So let's just stick on me. I don't want to get too much into my son's story because I don't ever want to take it to a negative place, because he was a genuinely loving, kind spirit, and funny as fuck, man. Just hilarious. I was talking to one of his friends, Rosie, and how they met, and I won't get into it, but she told me a story about my son, right? And I've been laughing ever since this. She told me the story. I was laughing so hard because he was a fucking nut job, man. He was a fucking character. Always fucking with people. And when he came out of the womb, he was fucking with us. When he was a little kid, he would just fuck with me and my wife at the time. And he was just a character, man. We were always chasing him around. We got it on video. He was just fucking with everybody, man. He was just, and doing it just to get a reaction of laughter. And it was harmless. Drove us nuts, but it was harmless. Anyways, I don't know how I got off on that tangent, but you guys subscribe to my channel, Sobriety and the 5-Day God Challenge. It looks like we're going to have another big weekend this weekend. A lot of views, and it's going to hit well over, I would say we're going to probably have You know, I had 1,000 views just this morning in a couple hours, so in about 2-hour period on like 2 or 3 videos. So yeah, subscribe and have a happy Sunday, you guys.